Japan's ancient Jomon period stretches across an extraordinary span of time, from approximately 14,000 to 3000 BCE, a prehistoric era defined by creativity, survival, and complex social dynamics. Deep in these millennia, long before the rise of rice cultivation and written history, lived communities who hunted, foraged, and crafted their existence with remarkable skill and artistry. Among the most captivating remnants from this period is the recurring figure of the female form, a symbol that has drawn archaeologists and historians into a fascinating mystery about the role and significance of women in Jomon society. The name Jomon itself comes from the distinctive cord mark patterns found on the pottery made during this era. These patterns, created by pressing cords and ropes into wet clay, reveal an innovative artistic tradition that was among the earliest in the world. Such craftsmanship suggests not only a utilitarian need, but also the development of cultural expression and identity. But it is the discovery of clay figurines, many unmistakably female in form, that has profoundly shaped how we think about the people of the Jomon period. These small, often elaborately decorated figurines, known as dogu, have been unearthed across Japan from diverse Jomon settlements. Their exaggerated female features and varied postures intrigue researchers, as they may have embodied spiritual or ritual significance. However, the exact purpose of these figurines remains a subject of ongoing study, with theories ranging from fertility symbols and protective talismans to representations of deities or ancestors. Understanding the importance of women through these figurines offers a rare glimpse into prehistoric social structures, especially since the Jomon people left no written records. Most experts agree that women likely played central roles in Jomon communities, which were predominantly hunter-gatherers. These groups depended extensively on fishing, hunting deer and wild boar, and gathering nuts, seeds, and plants from forests that covered much of prehistoric Japan. Survival demanded cooperation and knowledge transmission, roles in which women may have been indispensable. But beyond their subsistence activities, women might have been vital cultural custodians. Some anthropologists suggest the female figurines reflect a spiritual or ritual authority wielded by women, or at least a reverence toward fertility, regeneration, and the cycles of nature essential to Jomon life. These ideas align with other hunter-gatherer societies worldwide where women's roles in childbirth, food preparation, and social rituals were deeply respected. The enigma deepens when considering how varied and widespread these figurines are. They show no single uniform style, but rather local variations in form and decoration, indicating diverse traditions or beliefs within the Jomon communities over vast geographic areas and thousands of years. This diversity challenges simple interpretations and points instead to a rich, complex society where women may have embodied different roles and meanings depending on time and place. As we delve further into the Jomon period, the female figure stands not merely as an archaeological artifact, but as a cultural symbol wrapped in mystery. She invites us to explore how prehistoric people understood identity, spirituality, and gender, questions still resonant in today's world. How did women influence Jomon society? What power or status do they hold? Archaeological findings from Jomon sites across Japan provide remarkable insight into the daily lives, social structures, and cultural practices of this ancient people, especially regarding the roles of women. One of the most significant categories of evidence comes from the pottery styles that define this period. Jomon pottery, some of the oldest in the world, is celebrated for its cord-marked decorations. Yet beyond these general patterns, there are distinct regional variations and stylistic developments that reveal a nuanced artistic tradition. These ceramics were not merely functional. Many vessels show intricate flares, rims, and textures suggestive of ritual use or status display. Because pottery production in many hunter-gatherer societies was often closely linked with women, the complexity and specialization of Jomon ceramics imply that women may have held important roles as artisans and cultural bearers. Burial sites further underscore this perspective. Excavations have uncovered numerous graves, some richly adorned and others more modest, but a substantial number are those of women. These female burials often include grave goods such as finely crafted pottery, stone tools, and ornaments made from bone or shell. The placement and care given to these graves suggest that certain women held elevated social status or particular spiritual significance within their communities. In some cases, the presence of ceremonial items hints at ritual practices possibly facilitated or led by women. Moreover, the skeletal remains themselves offer valuable clues. Careful osteological analysis reveals details about health, diet, and lifestyle. For example, remains indicate that Jomon women were physically active, engaging in tasks requiring strength and endurance, such as gathering, processing food, and possibly crafting. Signs of healed injuries or joint wear emphasize the demanding nature of their daily work. Beyond this, the frequency and context of female burials with specific artifacts have prompted scholars to reassess previously male-centered interpretations of Jomon's social organization. Rather than a strictly patriarchal system, evidence increasingly points toward more egalitarian or complex gender dynamics. This includes potential matrilineal elements or influential female figures involved in decision-making or rituals. The famous Dogu figurines, largely female, now fit within a broader framework of symbolic expression linked to the lived experiences of these women. Jomon craftsmanship extends beyond pottery and figurines to intricate stone and bone tools. These required specialized knowledge and artistry, again often associated with women's expertise. Techniques persisted and evolved over thousands of years, demonstrating remarkable cultural continuity in this prehistoric society. This continuity is notable given the Jomon period's vast time span and environmental changes. Recent excavations in sites, such as Tagoyano and Sanai Murayama, have offered fresh perspectives on gender roles. For instance, analysis of dwelling arrangements and artifact distribution indicates that women might have been cultural leaders or ritual specialists, maintaining traditions across generations. Such findings challenge earlier models that placed men solely in dominant economic and spiritual roles. Instead, they suggest a society where women's influence was both practical and symbolic. Altogether, archaeological evidence from pottery, burial sites, and skeletal remains paints a complex picture of Jomon society, where women were central to cultural identity, social structure, and everyday survival. The discoveries surrounding the Jomon woman compel us to rethink long-held assumptions about ancient East Asian societies. For decades, many scholars framed prehistoric Japan as a relatively simple, male-dominated culture, largely influenced by the later arrival of agricultural practices from the continent. However, the rich archaeological evidence from Jomon sites now highlights a complex society where women were not passive participants but influential agents in social, spiritual, and artistic realms. This challenges the traditional narrative that often sidelines women's roles in early history. The diverse and widespread female figurines suggest that women may have held central spiritual authority or symbolic importance, possibly as custodians of ritual life or as embodiments of fertility and renewal. The prominence of women's graves, frequently accompanied by valuable artifacts, points toward varied social statuses, perhaps ranging from revered elders to ritual specialists. These findings expand our understanding of prehistoric social organization, indicating that the Jomon people might have operated within fluid or balanced gender dynamics rather than strict hierarchies. Furthermore, the intricate ceramic and tool craftsmanship associated with women demonstrates their crucial role in maintaining and innovating cultural practices over thousands of years. This continuity speaks to an enduring transmission of knowledge and identity, firmly rooted in local environments, yet flexible enough to undergo regional variation. The implications for Japan's prehistoric origins are profound. Rather than being a passive recipient of external influences, Jomon culture appears as an active and dynamic society contributing uniquely to the archipelago's human history. Genetic studies complement this view, showing that modern Japanese populations carry Jomon ancestry alongside later migratory genomes, highlighting a blend rather than replacement. This genetic mixing reflects complex interactions over time, emphasizing Jomon contributions to contemporary Japan's biological and cultural heritage. Yet, despite these advances, significant uncertainties remain. The full extent of women's influence in Jomon society is still debated. Were female figures predominantly spiritual leaders, community organizers, or symbolic icons? Did their status vary between regions or through the millennia as environmental pressures and social structure shifted? The reasons behind cultural transformations toward more agricultural and hierarchical societies in later periods are not fully understood. What drove these changes, and how did women's roles evolve in those contexts? These questions continue to inspire and challenge researchers. Importantly, the careful interdisciplinary study, combining archaeology, anthropology, genetics, and other sciences, remains vital to unraveling these mysteries. New excavation techniques, refined dating methods, and broader comparative analyses allow for fresh perspectives that constantly reshape our understanding. The story of the Jomon woman is far more than an academic puzzle. It is a gateway into how human communities adapt, express identity, and negotiate power long before written history. As ongoing research sheds light on these ancient lives, it reminds us that history is not just about kings and conquerors, but also about the everyday people, often women, whose creative and social contributions laid the foundations for future generations. Exploring the Jomon legacy challenges us to appreciate the depth and complexity of prehistoric Japan and encourages a more inclusive view of human history at large.